Welcome back. All right, so today we are going to talk about the actual structure of what tracking really is. We're going to talk about what this actually entails and what you actually have to do in order to track your food, log it, and then what do you do with all of that information. So right out of the gates, the first thing that you should do if you haven't at this point is to download a tracking app. So there's hundreds of them that exist out there. I've tried a number of them. I've kind of landed on one that I feel like is the most powerful and also the most accurate at the free version, and the paid version is actually pretty reasonable too. Full disclosure, I am an affiliate of theirs. I will post my affiliate link below. I don't make any extra money from you purchasing through me, so if you don't want to use that, you don't have to, but Cronometer is the name of that app. It's used by a lot of medical universities. It's used by a lot of hospitals, dietitians, and a lot of the information is preloaded into it, and it's more driven by solid data sources versus user driven, which a lot of other apps are highly user driven. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but a lot of other apps out there tend to be the users input all of the information into the app, and then that becomes part of the public record and you go on to use that. And if the first person to log that inputted it incorrectly, then it's going to be incorrect for everybody out there. Or if they don't like the chicken breast or input that's in the app, they create their own. Now you've got 15 different options to choose from chicken breast, versus Cronometer does a pretty good job of filtering all that stuff out, and we'll give you one, maybe two options depending on how it's cooked, or, you know, in the case of chicken, skin on, skin off, and things like that. So first thing, download an app. This is going to be the powerhouse for your tracking journey. This is where you're going to input all of your information. This is where you're going to look at reports. This is where you're going to analyze and adjust your macros so that we can see if we're on track to make progress and generally hit our numbers. So that is number one, is we need to download an app. Next is we now need to actually start weighing and measuring our food. So I put the emphasis on weighing. So if you don't have a food scale, I highly recommend that you go out and get one. You can get them on Amazon, Walmart, Target, any retailer typically will sell these, and you can get one for fairly cheap. But this is going to be the main tool that you're going to use when it comes to tracking your food intake. Why use these over measuring cups is because it's going to be more accurate. So ideally, we put most of our food on the food scale and we'll track things by weight. Ideally, we track things by gram, and there's some nuance here. Do we need to track raw versus cooked? And we'll cover some of that in our Q&A session later on. So for now, understand we're going to be using a food scale. We need to start measuring food. And from there, that's how we're then going to input all of that information into our app. So once we start logging all of that into our app, this is going to give us an idea of what the macro breakdown of those foods are. And we're going to talk about in our next video about our progression. So ideally, people tend to want to be perfect right out of the gates when we're talking about macro tracking. So we're going to talk about in our next video how we progress through this as we start logging these foods into our app. How close do we need to be to our numbers to be successful and see the results that we're going for? So stay tuned for that one.